The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Wonders they say shall never cease to happen. Africa is a poor continent. To the point that when these people were having their inauguration, they never bothered to invite any African leader. Then they came into office and claimed they want to dine with Africa. So they invited some few people, some of the leaders to the White House. And then we saw how there was a king and there were servants. Then he said sanctions, visa bans on Africa. Africans, we don't need you here. You have to stay in your countries and develop your country. So the rule now is everybody must stay in his or her country to develop. All of a sudden, Donald Trump U-turn to Africa as dollar collapses. US returns to Africa as dollar weakens with investment. First strategy as competition for influence intensifies. Why can't these people just do away with Africa? Why can't they just stay away from Africa? Whenever there's trouble, the next thing they are looking for is Africa. When they claim that things are good for them, they don't need Africa. Look at the visa bans that we have received. Look at the sanctions, the tariffs. And Africa said, okay, if that's the case, we are building our own stuff, so we don't also want to be in your country. And now you are coming back again in the name of investment strategy. I hope Africa don't fall for this. US return to Africa with investment first strategy as competition for influence intensifies. On Friday, January 30, 2026, the United States officially launched a new era of engagement with Africa, prioritizing large-scale infrastructure and private sector investment over traditional foreign aid. This strategic recalibration is headlined by the establishment of the Strategic Infrastructure and Investment Working Group, a collaborative platform formed with the African Union to align U.S. capital with the continent's Agenda 2063 and the African Continental Free Trade Area. They will definitely have this organization to do their bid. Anybody at all that wants to develop Africa, they will come here that they want to invest. We've seen that even the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, was also asking other people, his people, to come into Africa. This is a place these people claim it is poor. Yet they are all running into Africa to invest in Africa. Why do you invest in a poor continent? Because this is what you told the world, that we have nothing. And that is why you don't need us. You make it look as if we are hungry, and that is why we are running out of Africa. They tried to make sure we never see what we have in order for them to continue to come here and take. And they always come here with investment, whatever, which we know at the end of the day doesn't benefit us in Africa. Whatever investment, whatever they claim they're coming to do in Africa is always benefiting them. We get nothing. We get nothing. And why African Union cannot just say no to these people is a problem. We are trying to figure out the solution to it. This man, I didn't know he will ever come back to Africa with anything of the sort, because the way he's treating us is something else. The way he's just everything of his that he doesn't like. Africa is always first, and we expect our leaders that at this time when these people come back into the continent, they have to let them understand that, it's a poor continent, so for that matter, we don't need the rich inside our continent. Africa has become a point, like people are just fighting over Africa. Left, front, center, everywhere. And I like one thing that the president of Zambia said in his speech. According to him, Africa, we are thinking about ourselves. So they should never drag us into their conflict. And nobody should tell us that because you are not in good terms with so for that matter, Africa shouldn't. Like we've seen them do to, what's the name? Kenya. Telling Kenyans they don't want Kenya to be closer to China. How do you sit down to tell us who we should befriend? To the point that they went ahead to tell the Sahel nations not to be close to Russia. You don't determine the fate of Africa. So, we know that these people, things are knocking things for them. There is fire on them. They cause it themselves. And for that matter, they shouldn't drag Africa into it. And this is the time Africans, the leaders, must also let these people to understand that we just want to be who we are. We are in a free world. So for that matter, we need to take control over everything that has to do with us. Instead of us allowing these people to continue to be treating us the way they do, which we know at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit Africa. All this so-called investment, whatever, is just to benefit them, and nothing will benefit Africa. And the little peanut they'll give to us, you see our leaders, the democratically elected, the politicians, sharing it because it's national cake. These people don't come into office to serve anybody. They've come to serve their stomach, and that we need to understand. By focusing on bankable projects in transport corridors, energy systems, and digital network, Washington aims to provide commercial viable alternative to the debt-heavy financing models historically offered by rivals like China and Russia. So whatever Russia and China are doing here, the United States of America now woke up. They has broken them. Now they want to come back into Africa and come and do it. But these are the people, whenever we are in their midst, they let the world understand that the African is inferior by the way they treat us. Even the 5 countries, our leaders who visited, to the point that this man was asking a head of state where he learned how to speak English. Well, we know very well that that country is an English-speaking country. And you find the African leader not seeing this thing to be and you will say, yes, sir, yes, sir, say yes, sir. Calling your fellow head of state, yes, sir. We really need to reform, like the Zambia president said. We need to reform AU. It is very important because we can't have these leaders leading us in this 21st century where the world is at a peak. New world order. Things are knocking things. Everybody is fighting for survival. And Africans, we don't have to sit there and watch and claim that this doesn't concern us. It does. Under the second Trump administration, U.S. ambassadors are now being evaluated based on their ability to facilitate business deals, reflecting a transactional American first approach that treats the continent as a vital economic partner rather than a development project. A core pillar of this return is the administration's deliberate policy of maintaining a weaker US dollar to boost the competitiveness of American exports and industrial investment abroad. Economists note that a softer greenback provides critical breathing room for African nations as more than 70% of the continent's external public debt is dominated in dollars. A weaker currency reduces debt servicing costs and creates the fiscal space necessary for local government to co-invest in US-backed infrastructure. We can't trust these people. They have never seen us to be equal, and this is not the time that they have. A leopard can never change its skin. It is not possible. So as much as they always come with the sugar-coated ways, we need to be very careful. So if China and Russia aren't treating Africans good, it means that these people, and I've shown you videos where these people sit in their Congress and they discuss about the things they need to come and be doing because Russia is doing it, Africa is loving Russia, China is doing it, Africa is loving China, and the youth, we are loving these two nations because of the different approach they have brought into Africa. And we need to understand that these people can never treat us right. Look at the things that China is doing, road and other things. But these people are making sure Africa never gets anything good. Theirs is to come here and be taking the resources every blessed day. And can we continue to work with people like this for centuries? We have been with them. We have never seen any headway. Is it today they are going to change because they need to save themselves? No. I don't think our leaders should allow these people to use Africa as another avenue to strengthen themselves. And when they finish, they are the same people who will not turn back and talk to the African. Anyhow, the time has come for us to be on our feet. This is a new world order, and we must also make sure we change the way we do things with these people. Enough of us allowing ourselves to be used to the advantage of other people. Enough is enough. The African must stop allowing Africa to be a point for people to come and then turn things around, while we, the citizens, we suffer. The continent is ours, everything here is ours, and everything in Africa must benefit no other person than the African. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world and in the United States of America.